Welcome to the newest video, Soldier, and today I thought I would do a NASB 2 tier list of the characters who are in the game right now, and also the DLC looks like it's a part of this tier list, so I'm going to be doing that at the end of the video, ranking them what I think is going to be strongest. But because I got the game earlier than everybody else, I'm having a lot of content coming out in the coming days and weeks, so make sure to stay tuned for that. If you guys were wanting to be a part of the mayhem, make sure you like the video so everybody can see this more, and subscribe if you want to be a part of it. You can unsubscribe down the road if you don't like the content, but it's all Gouda. If not, now let's get into this tier list. Initial thoughts. I think that Plankton is not good. I'm gonna say it. I don't know if anybody else is gonna say this, but I think he's bad from what I have played with him and how I have tried to make him work. And even though his slime cancel stuff is kind of okay, I think he's got the most that needs to be fixed. I don't think that he's that great. I think that he's got a lot of problems and his grab does not work. And I think that a lot of things that don't work with him it will probably have to be fixed either in the coming days or hopefully day one they just drop a patch or something, but I doubt it. They'll probably have to hot fix or fix him to some degree because his moves don't connect and some of his things don't work right, which is really sad because he's like the only real super heavy that was like equivalent to Iron Giant from Multiverses, and I'm sad to see that he's not going to be as broken as I want him to be, but he probably will be insane if they do too much to him, so I'm surprised that he was not the best iteration that he would be. They're probably going to have to patch him up to make him really good, but we'll see in the future on that. But I'm going to keep going up the list. From what I've played of Raphael, this character is kind of insane. I think that he's going to be really cool. I can see a world where people do some good combos with him. I can see a world where his up special like helps kill off the top, and a lot of his charged attacks are really strong and like feel good to hit. So I think in terms of playstyle and playing him, he's got short range, but that might work in the end for him. He's sort of a glass cannon by that degree as well. And I do think the turtles are probably going to be like in the A tier somewhere, maybe at the bottom of A tier, because they do have some things going for them, but they also have some issues, like the recoveries aren't the best. But the reason why I think Donatello might actually be better than Raphael, just because of the fact that he has the teleportation. He has these weird like hitboxes kinda, and I think that his range is a lot for him. And I think because Leonardo in the other game, in the very first one, was an issue like because of his swords, I think that Donatello is probably going to be up there because his staff is huge and he's got a lot of things going for him. He's a little trickster, like a little magician. I think that he's got a lot of things that I like about him, and I think that he's definitely going to be one of those characters to watch out for as the meta evolves. I personally think Garfield's going to be broken. I think he's going to be broken because he's like literally just like Fox McCloud in Melee, but the thing that separates him is that his recovery kind of sucks compared to them. But I still believe in the fastness of having a fast character that can just get on you and never get off, and have these slime cancels that are insane, and have these like slime moves where he can make the pies gigantic and have you carry off the map essentially. I think that he's probably going to be broken just because of the fact that he's gonna have this mechanic where like he's just fast, and even though he doesn't have like the fastest speed initially, if he gets his little like food craze little meter, if he gets that, that's what's gonna separate him from the bad Garfields. The good Garfields are gonna be insane and annoying with him and super in your face and super strong, and I think that he's gonna be killing off the top a lot just from like what I've seen from this trailer and how I've played him a little bit. He is crazy. I honestly think he is pretty nuts. Some people are sleeping on the Angry Beavers. I honestly think that they might be really good just because of how both of them flow. Like, yeah, Norbert or Norb, he is definitely like the slower version, sort of like Pyramithra, but the fact that you could have them both out at different times and like use your neutral special to have like Dag throwing something or have Norbert like throwing something. Like if you have them out, you can actually down special and switch between the positions. So like if they're above you, like you have your second half of you above, you can just swap places. It's nuts. Like it's really actually insane. I think that trickster ability of that, being able to switch around and like be different characters and having like how fast Dag is, the fact that Dag has a nair that I think is going to be stupid is going to be really interesting because his nair like can do pretty much anything. Like if you miss a tech, he can just land on you with nair and then get a grab. And it's the same thing with April O'Neil. I think that she is a little bit worse than Nasby 1 is obviously because her moves are not as broken, not as spammable, but she's got kind of weird angles on stuff, and I think she's still really good. Probably top of B tier, or maybe even end of A tier. If I change my mind at the end of the video, I might organize it some more at the end, but I think she's really good. I really am happy with how she is, and I think that she's probably going to be one of the more like amazing characters to play just for tech chasing. And she's got like a Joker up air where she can like drag down. I think that's what's really going for her. Played at perfection, she might be top of A tier, but I think she's pretty difficult because she's got to use a lot of things to her advantage. She has to know these percents where you can like tech chase where they miss tech and then nair and re-grab. I think Korra is probably going to have the same problem she had at Nazby 1. She's pretty good still, but her recovery, I don't like it. If you don't slime cancel her recovery, it's not as good. She's very vertical, very telegraphed with what she wants to do, but on the ground, on stage, she's pretty amazing. I think she's really good in that aspect, but I feel like this game's going to be an edge guard game, let's trap type of game, so I'm not necessarily sure how she's going to do. I think she's still got it in her to be really insane like she was towards the end of Nazby 1's lifespan. But for me, I feel like when I play Korra, she does feel a little slow, a little wonky, a little janky, doesn't really feel as insane as I thought, but she's really cool still, and I like her a lot. I think Aang's gonna be broken. I think he's gonna be stupid. He has 3 jumps, the initial jump, and then he has 2 double jumps for some reason. He can cancel out of his up special. That's a theme that you're gonna see with a lot of characters that I think that are really good. I think April should be higher, maybe just because like her up special doesn't cuck her as bad, but it's not as good as Aang's. Like Aang's up special, literally you can cancel out of it with your air dodge. You can't do that with a lot of characters. They just go into tumble and die. Like I think that that's going to be a problem for a lot of them. And speaking of tumble and die, I think Ember, playing her recovery sucks. Like her recovery does not feel good. Her combo game's okay. I think it's the fact that she treats this guitar like a sword, but like a slow swordy, you know what I mean? So she's definitely going to be up there in terms of like random killing, but I'm really nervous as to how she's going to get back to stage, because this game, I feel like it's going to be an edgeguard game, and in an edgeguard game scenario, I don't really know if she's got it like that, because she just spins up sort of like me brawler and doesn't really go far. She goes sort of more horizontal with it, but it's like a very slow initial vertical, and then it goes slowly to the right or left. Like it's not that impressive to me. Going to another character that I think is going to be interesting. I still think Nigel's going to be really good. I think Nigel's probably middle of the pack right now, just because he is so specific, right? Like even though he has those 4 jumps, and even though he has like these moves that he has, he's very specific in which he has to hit things. The smashing effect for down special being like Jigglypuff Rest, I think that's what's really going for him, but how are you ever going to combo into that? You know what I mean? Like Nazby 1, he kind of had that problem, and Nazby 2, he still has that problem. You can't really combo into it, and if you do, it'd be broken. And I think that there will be some setups, but I don't really know from just playing him. He just feels like really cool, but I definitely think he's gonna be middle of the pack for right now. And Reptar, you know, Reptar, he teeters in between these 2 tiers, so maybe at the end of B tier, maybe top of C. But I've been playing him a lot. I've been spamming him and like playing him in arcade mode, playing him in all different types of things, trying to learn him more and more. I think that he's just way too slow for some of the things he wants to do, but his saving grace is his forward air, and some reason his up tilt like dunks, and so does his like, he has like a few things that can do that, like his heavy down smash or whatever in the air. That thing can dunk. He can grab ledge like that. He can sort of mix up. If he doesn't slime cancel or slime up B, I feel like he's not gonna be able to recover as good. He gets sent into that entirely downward spike where he cannot get out of it if he doesn't have a slime cancel, and so his recovery sucks. Like a lot of this theme for me is recovery. I feel like if you have a broken recovery, you're gonna be a good character, just because I've already seen a lot of the kits and I've already played with some of them. Like Aang has a broken kit. Like his kit, it has so much stuff going for him. He has so many tools and so many things that are different. And he's got like projectiles. He's got like range. He's also got stuff like that. Reptar doesn't really have range. He does have a cool forward air, right? His throw game is not bad, and I do think he's not bad at all. I think he's a lot better than Plankton. Like Plankton wishes he had at least some level of viability that Reptar has. I feel like Reptar can actually win some of the matchups that are harder for him, but he has to play a certain way, which is definitely the playstyle of a big old lizard. I feel like he's definitely going to be one of those characters where you have to be leery of that person manning him, because he can do some dirty things, but he has some weird hitboxes, and I think that his hitboxes are going to make him feel weird, because not everything combos, and he has some slight combos, but not the most like perfect ones, so it's kind of a hit or miss for him. Next we're gonna go, I think Azula also is really strong. I'll probably organize this at the end because I don't really know who I want to put where or who's gonna be the best in the game yet, but Azula, she is basically better April O'Neil, but her recovery is bad to considering how April's, I feel like April's is better, but April's dunk doesn't feel as good, and also it's way more obvious for Azula to hit her stuff than it is for like April, but they have essentially kind of the same kits, the same forward air, they have the same nair, like they have things that are essentially almost the same, but I think that Azula's just got that slow projectile, whereas, you know, April does not have a projectile, and I think projectiles go far in this game, and I think that that's going to be like a changing, determining factor for a lot of characters. If you have a projectile, you're probably going to be good. If you don't, it's probably going to be a little bit harder for you. Now, I played a little bit of Rocco. I think that Rocco has some things going for him. He's a lot more interesting now this time, and I think that he is middle of the pack right now just because I can't really get a super good read on him. He has some moves that have some insane hit stun. I'm like 50-50 with him. I think that he could be definitely really good. That recovery is very vertical, but he can still make it back kind of a lot because of how like insanely vertical it is. And I'm not necessarily sure he's hits traps and stuff, so I think that the trap characters are probably gonna be pretty good. I think a lot of them are mid-tier. I don't really feel like a lot of them are the best in the game. Like Gertie, I feel like, unfortunately, I feel like Gertie is, even though she is like Captain Falcon, she doesn't have the speed of Falcon. She kind of gets like pieced up real bad. She kind of gets like super bopped. If you see her fighting, she kind of gets like rectified. She can't really do anything much about that. She kind of has like a gimpable recovery. And so she's got a really good one too. If you can grab the ledge, it's like a tether almost, but like it's kind of very obvious almost. So I feel like her speed and mix-up game is pretty good, but it comes down to the fact that she is like Captain Falcon. So she's got the same problems as Falcon. I feel like Plankton might be the only one in D because all these other characters, I feel like they're not bad at all. Like SpongeBob, I almost feel like SpongeBob's at A just because like his all-around game is pretty good. His recovery kind of sucks, but the slime cancel version of it is pretty good. I think that his also like being able to go out there and dunk, having his moveset the way it is now, it might be better than it has ever been. The initial problem I had with SpongeBob was that I wasn't sure if he was going to be good, but his side special makes up for that. His side special gives a lot of horizontal distance. The only thing he's lacking is the vertical. But the fact that you can slime cancel into up smash in the air is really insane, like aerial up smash. I think that he actually has a lot going for him in that fact. Same thing for Squidward. I feel like when I played him, he had some good things. I just don't know about his combo game. I feel like his recovery is pretty good. His things that he has are pretty good. He might be the bottom of A or the top of B. So we'll have to maybe organize it at the end and see how it is. But I feel like he's pretty good. This version of Danny Phantom, I feel like it's maybe better than the first version, but some of his moves just don't make sense in terms of like if they whiff or hit or not. Like if he has like a side special, or not side special, he has like a side smash, sorry, on the grounded side smash, and it like backs you up, and sometimes that micro spacing of it kind of messes up the hit box, and that kind of makes him weird. He has some of the stuff he retained from the first game. His teleportation is pretty good, and he has a lot of other things that I think are pretty good about him, but it's gonna take a specialist to really change my mind. I think he's middle of the pack right now. Invader Zim, I almost want to put him at the bottom of A or like up here in B. I feel like Invader Zim, he has so much. He has so much now, and he has a dunk. He's got this nair. He's got the solar beam that from like the Ivysaur had in like P+. Like he has some insane things about him, and he's got like that explosion thingy or whatever, and I think that's pretty good. The problem with me is his recovery. His recovery makes him a B tier, but his tools make him an A tier. He's got like a Rosalina thing going on with Luma for a Gur. Like he's got a lot of things going for him, but if Gur is dead, his recovery sucks. So that's like he's like a hard character. I feel like the trap characters are all the ones that are going to be good. It's just going to be really hard for them to claim their #1 spot. You know what I mean? Like that for Patrick. I feel like Patrick, he is way better than the other iteration he was. He's not just a grappler anymore. He's not one-dimensional anymore. He actually has a lot going for him. Like the throwing the table, having a projectile. Like his grapple game is pretty good. Being able to do it again after he hits somebody is pretty insane. Like if he hits the grab and someone tries to edge guard him, he can just grab again, like using recovery. So I feel like he's a lot better than he used to be. So I'm looking forward to seeing how people do with Patrick, because a lot of people are specialists with him. I feel like he has a good chance of being good in the meta, and I feel like he's definitely slept on in terms of like his explorations of his moves and everything. I feel like he could be really good. It's just going to depend on how the player base reacts with him and how they make him good. Now Jenny didn't change too much, so she's middle of the pack once again. I feel like she's definitely like B. I don't know if she's A, because her recovery and everything is interesting. I think that she as a character is interesting, and the fact that they only gave her one different thing, which was this move that is basically like this little hammer that shoots out a shockwave. I think the shockwave is very interesting. It's going to make people jump, and I feel like because she's got these other things like drill, she's got the other aerials that she's got, I feel like it'll work out for her, but it's going to come down to the meta once again. Because Garfield's going to be the fastest when he has those buffs, so how is she going to deal with a fast, speedy character? I feel like she'd get rushed down. A lot of them, I feel like they can get rushed down, or they're the people that rush down the characters, you know what I mean? So as you go down the list, you can see who gets rushed down the worst. And I feel like Korra, Ember, and Reptar and Gertie all get rushed down pretty bad. Like they don't really have any tools like get off me tools like the other characters have. And I feel that's like a one thing that I feel like Patrick also kind of has. He has a lot of things going for him, and that's sort of what I think about him right now. El Tigre is pretty good. His aerials are good. His shine is good, but he can't. I don't really know how this is all going to link together. If he misses his grab in the air, it's pretty laggy. And if he misses like any of his other stuff, you can kind of just like wreck him. Also, his recovery, I thought it was going to be a little bit better. but it's not that bad. It's pretty good. I think he's probably going to be middle of the pack, like actually in the middle of B tier or something, but I'll probably organize everything at the end. Gerald, I feel like, dude, I'm conflicted about Gerald. I feel like he also is in B tier just because his recovery is pretty good. It's not bad, but it is very exploitable. If you hit him away a certain amount or a certain distance, he is just dead. And I feel like that might make him the worst in B, but also his moves and like the fact that he's got like the basketball, he got the football, he got the skateboard, skater stuff. He's got everything that you could kind of imagine he would have. Everything that's going for him is pretty good, but I feel like the recovery is what makes him lackluster for me after playing him a little bit. And I'm not necessarily sure what to do with him yet. I think that he might be the end of B. I don't think he's a C tier character because his recovery, I get it, but like I feel like he can put on the pressure for people, but it's going to be a matter of time and seeing. Ren and Stimpy also as well, they have the same stuff they used to have, like the barrel or throwing the giant wood piece or whatever, and the recovery is not bad, but having that counter is nice, so they might be higher than that for me. We'll see how that goes, but I definitely think that the character has gone through a lot of changes that help a lot, and I think that the character themselves might be the best iteration that I have seen so far. Going up again to the tier list, we have the last two characters before the DLC, and that is Jimmy Neutron and Lucy Loud. So I am conflicted about these two. These two are the ones that I haven't really played that much, but I have seen the gameplay, obviously. I do feel like they would both be mid-tiers, but I think what would make the difference is that Lucy's probably not going to be as broken as she used to be. And I hear people saying that she's C tier. People are saying that she's not that good anymore. I think people put her at the bottom. Some of them put her at the bottom. Like, I don't know how I feel about her being at the bottom, but I do think that she's good enough to be in this meta and be so good. I feel like there's a lot of characters that can be really good. If anything, if Jimmy Neutron is good enough to have like these traps and everything, because I haven't played him that much. I've played like one game of him. I feel like if he has these trap potentials as what Zim in theory for me has, then I feel like he could be really, really good. I'm going to organize this tier list really quick, and then we'll do the DLC at the very end. We're going to be doing that right now, but let me get this organized. So here's my somewhat organized tier list. I still haven't made up my mind on some characters, but I think it'll have to do for now. And I'm thinking that, yeah, Reptar is probably going to be where he is and stay there. I feel like the C tier and D tier obviously can't change. The C tiers, I feel like they have it in them to do it up. Maybe some changes might make them over the top, so that might be it. I almost feel like maybe Cora could be B tier, but I'm not necessarily sure. I feel like her and Lucy Loud may be interchangeable. This is what I have for my tier list overall, y'all. So now let's do the DLC. Who I think is going to be the best? Honestly, okay, this is who I hope. I hope Mr. Krabs is broken. I really hope he's broken. I doubt he will be. He'll probably be like the end of A tier, right? But I'm hoping he's S tier. I feel like Rocksteady's probably gonna be the worst. There's no way. He's either gonna have like be really slow and chunky and have slow moves, almost like maybe in Plankton tier. So I'm like nervous he's gonna be bad. I'm hoping that this is where they will go, the Firebenders. I hope the rest of the Firebenders go into A tier. I feel like if they have a better recovery than Azula, they're gonna take her spot 100%. Like Zuko and Iroh, I feel like if they both if either one of them have better recoveries than her, or even different moves that make it so it's like they are like a counter to her, I feel like that is going to be their saving grace, because a lot of the characters, they have either good recovery or a good combo game or both, and not all of them have like trap tools and stuff. Trap characters like Invader Zim I feel like makes sense, and also like Jimmy Neutron's a part trap character, so is Rocco. Rocco's got traps and stuff where he can like put situations where you have to choose or jump. Like I think that those characters are pretty good. I would put Rocco higher, but I feel like they're kind of all sort of where they belong. They can go either way. Like they could be unordered or but from what I feel like Garfield has to be one of the more broken characters just because he can change his speed. This is pretty much what my tier list is going to be. Also with the DLC, I'm hoping that DLC is all going to be A tier, but I'm nervous that Rocksteady's going to be bad, because I can't really see a world where he's going to be super fast. If they did, it's going to be kind of crazy. I would love that, but this is my tier list, y'all. Let me know what you guys think. And if you guys want to make your own tier list and talk about it in the chat, if you guys want to talk about it in the comments of who you think is S tier, who you think is A tier, who you think is the worst character in the game, I would like to know that too. Then leave a comment below, and make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell button so you can see everything I do every gosh darn week. We're going to be doing a lot of NASB content in the coming days, and I cannot wait for you all to see what is in store with this beautiful game. I can't wait to play it some more and finally play some people online and get some clips.